Hello, hello, my friends. Good morning and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And today I am also your guest. I'm delighted to be here with you today to be able to share a conversation and some guides and principles that I trust are going to support you in elevating your life and elevating your business so that you get to be the one. We're going to be talking about the one philosophy today. You get to be the one that spreads more joy, more love, more compassion, more kindness, more goodness, more results, and more value through all the various aspects of your life and your business. And right before I jump into that conversation, let me share a couple of updates in the wonderful world of Women's Prosperity Network. So, first of all, today, excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat. Today, at 12 noon, my sister and partner, Trish Carr, is hosting a webinar called the Six Figure Blueprint. And if you'd like to attend that, I'm going to ask Susan, my other sister, to go ahead and put a link in the chat and in a Facebook group so that you can join for this free training to support you in getting your business have the results you want by year's end. So join us for that. Next week, we've got our Networking with a Twist, which is your opportunity to connect and collaborate with the amazing community of Women's Prosperity Network. So be sure you check that out. And let me go ahead and make sure we've got everybody muted. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and just mute all to keep things safe. And I know it won't mute me. So there we go. So check out our website, womensprosperityNetwork.com. We've got lots of ways to bring us all together and raise one another up. And that's what it's all about, growing our businesses and growing ourselves. So today, we're talking about elevating your life and your business, especially in today's divided world. There's a lot happening right now in this moment as I'm delivering this message today. And I actually want to start off with a prayer of protection and safety for all those that are in the path of this Hurricane Milton, which is, getting ready to descend upon Florida. So I send out peace, love, prayers of protection for everyone in this path. May you be taken care of and covered. Seek shelter. And remember that even if you lose electricity for a little bit, you always have power. And that power comes from within. That power that comes from within has been placed in us by high above. So remember, you always have power. And that's a great transition into what I want to share with you today, bringing in the concept of the one philosophy and the six principles. And I created this book 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago now. So this is the book. It's called The One Philosophy, A Better Life for You and Humanity. Like really, when you follow the guidelines in here and the principles and really live them on an ongoing basis, it puts you in this beautiful vortex of magic where when you show up to be the one for others, all the ones that you need show up for you. And it starts with you actually being the one. And this reminds me of the quote that we all so often use from Gandhi: be the change you want to see in the world. And I was delivering a keynote a couple of years ago, and I went and I wanted to research and see, where did this quote come from and what's the depth behind it from Gandhi. And what was interesting is the actual quote from Gandhi is a little different. Let me share it with you. Gandhi said, "We but mirror the world. All tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. So if we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the outer world would also change. Be the change, right? So if we are going through our day-to-day lives and lamenting or kvetching or complaining about what's happening out there, to create change, we must start in here. And that's what the one philosophy is really all about. So the tenets, and there may be some people here who've not heard me speak on the one philosophy, or you think you know what it means, that we are all one, and we are. But the one philosophy is about treating each and every person that you meet with that same level of excitement, enthusiasm, and interest that you do when you think someone is the one. Right? So let me give this context. When you think someone is the one who's going to be that next best client, when you think someone's the one who's going to be your spouse or your business partner, when you think somebody who's the one who's going to get you the hookup to front row tickets to see Bruce Springsteen or whatever your pleasure, your delight is. Years ago, I noticed in myself, I had a meeting with Trina Robinson from NBC6 News. And I noticed on the morning of getting ready to go have a meeting with her, and I meet with clients all the time. And I want to be of highest service and I value and I'm looking to make a difference for them. But there was something different in me that morning as I was preparing to meet with Trina, and we were talking about a potential book that she wanted to write and how I could be of service. We do this all the time. But I noticed in me as I was getting ready that day, a little bit of a different energy, attitude. I was like, oh, meeting with Trina Robinson. She's the one who may help me get a TV show. She's the one who can put me on, NBC News and talk about all the things that we do here at Women's Prosperity Network. She's the one. And I found myself paying more attention to what I was wearing. I wanted to do more research about her. I was treating her just a little bit different because I thought she was the one, right? And I remember that morning having this aha moment. And this is back, probably 2008, 2009, somewhere in that time frame. And when I had that moment where I realized I was thinking a little differently, right? I was like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that in me. Because really, everyone is the one. I value all connections and all relationships, and I want to treat people in this way with this heightened level of interest and value and curiosity. So when I had this discovery, well before the book was ever written, it's where the book actually culminated from. I thought to myself, what would happen? I just played a game. And I said, what would happen if I started treating each and every person I meet, no matter where I am, whether it's an appointment I'm going to, a presentation I'm delivering, whether I'm going to the gas station or the grocery store, a restaurant, wherever I am, what would happen if I started to treat each and every person I meet as the one? And let me share, my friends, magic began to unfold. And as I played this experiment, I had more opportunities coming to me. I had more clients wanting to work with me. I had more past clients and people I knew from the past out of the blue just ringing me up and wanting to catch up and see what's going on and see how we could partner, collaborate, and or work together. And from this, I recognized that this space of treating each and every person you meet as the one is what sets in motion this beautiful chemical reaction of connecting with people and responding to their most basic human need. All of us are walking around in this world today with a big sign on our forehead that says, please let me know I matter. It's like there's flashing lights. It's what we all crave, is to know that we matter, that we value, that we're seen, that we're heard. And when you show up to treat and treat, right, from a genuine, authentic place. And I'll get to that in a moment. When you just treat every single person you meet with that same interest and curiosity and energy and enthusiasm, you're responding to their most basic human need. Let me know I matter, right? And the way this transcends into connections for your business, having sales conversations where people actually share what it is they want, it melts away the automatic guard that we tend to put up and that we've been ingrained and trained to be around, which is don't talk to strangers. Ooh, what do they want? We've had bad experiences in the past. But when you treat them as the one, ask questions about them, be genuinely curious and interested in who they are, why they are, and what they're up to, all of that can melt away. And it allows you to have that heart to heart connection. Now, you may be thinking, and actually, not that you may be thinking, I know you're thinking, because if you're part of my world, you are already someone who believes in this principle. It's not new to you. It's not new to most of us. Every single religion, in fact, has something like the golden rule to treat others as you want to be treated. And this is actually the next level up, but this is not a new concept. The question then comes into play. Well, if we know this, if we want to do this, I know you want to treat everyone you meet as the one. Why don't we? Well, as I've been training and teaching on this for so many years, I remember being in a conversation. I think it was a small mastermind where we were talking about the one philosophy. And somebody said, well, that sounds really good, but you don't know my ex-husband or my ex-business partner, or can you believe who they're voting for and what they did? And, we have been hurt. We have been wronged. We have been betrayed. We have been let down and disappointed and made angry and frustrated by all kinds of people in our lives. Haven't we? Give me a comment below if you are someone who has been through those experiences. Other people we have been hurt by other people, right? And when that happens, we want to protect ourselves. We don't want to get hurt again. So to treat somebody as the one when they've hurt us, feel, like we're creating ourselves to be too vulnerable and they're wrong and they wronged us. And so the question then becomes, if we want to live in this beautiful, magical vortex of the one philosophy and receive all the rich rewards that happen for you as well as that happen for everyone in your life, how can we look beyond those hurts and disappointments to still be the one, right, in that moment in time? I'm actually going to share Charla Anderson. I don't know if you are listening in. And if you are, awesome. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being the one. When I met Charla several years ago, and she wrote a great book called Candy Bar Hugs, and you can go ahead and check that out. And Charla shared that years ago, many, many years ago, she was walking down the street and it was kind of deserted. I believe it was late at night. And she's walking down the street, and then somebody comes up to her and pulls a gun and says to her, "Give me your purse." And I'm sure they did it with force and anger, right? Commanding her to do so. And in that moment, what she did was absolutely extraordinary. So let me remind you what Gandhi said. We are but a mirror of the outer world and the tendencies that are happening out there. If we want to change what's happening out there, we've got to change what's happening in there. So Charla is at gunpoint. And in that moment, she was able to tap in and pause to be the change. When she looked at this young man and said to him, she came from love. instead of fear. It came from faith. And she said to him, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry that things have happened in your life to cause you to feel that this is what you need to do right now. I am so sorry. I would gladly give you whatever you need to get back on your feet. And if you want, let's go have some lunch and talk about it." And the assailant, the guy, put his gun down and melted away, because that's what happened for him. When she was able to recognize it and transcend her fear to operate from faith, knowing she would be taken care of. And in this moment, she had an opportunity to truly transcend this current circumstance, these external conditions. Well, that's a pretty amazing ability she had in that moment. And I invite you to consider, when you are scrolling through Facebook, or you're getting ready to, we're going to be in the holiday season before we know it, with all kinds of people in our family and external circumstances that we're not, they're not what we're normally going to be around, and they're going to have differing opinions. And, do you sit at the holiday table, or do you watch and scroll through Facebook and read an opposing view for a candidate? We're in election time, right? It's the divided world, right? Do you scroll through and say, "That idiot, I can't believe how they could vote for that. How could they think that?" Like, what are you doing? When we stand in judgment, when we stand in this place of making others wrong, we are adding to the pot of negativity, of judgment, of, unkindness, right? No, we must be the change. So, and there's a lot I'm covering here today. And as I said, I would imagine many of you are nodding your heads, wanting to find the way to be the one more often. And in October, actually next week, I'm going to be doing a 6-week course and book study on the One Philosophy, so that you can embody these principles to support you in actually living this way. And listen, I get ticked off, but because I'm practiced in these principles of the One Philosophy, I don't get stuck there, right? So we are emotional beings, and we're going to have all the range of emotions that go all the way through the scales. The key is, when you get triggered by an emotion, how do you quickly transcend and transmute that emotion to be able to return from a place of love, just like Charla did, right? So, go to my website, nancymatthews.com, and you'll see there's a link right out there at the top for you to join us in this book study. And part of the reason I'm doing it at this particular time, it's going to be 6 weeks we'll be together, and I'm doing it at this particular time because we need it. Because I see so many people going through consistent struggles and challenges, and every day you're met with another opportunity to practice being the one. And if you are not practiced in executing the muscle of being the one, you're going to get stuck and triggered in some other ways. So I want to invite you to join us for this book study. You'll see you're going to get 2 copies of the book. We'll be together working in a small group, really dialing in to the principles that will support you in being the one, creating the results in your business, in your life, and the harmony in your relationships, to be able to deal with people of opposing views, people who are operating from hurt or anger or pain. And there's a lot of people that are going through rough stuff right now. Our job, as Gandhi said, is to be the change. And the best way to be the change is to work on me. So I want to give you now, so we're having some fun here. I see it. Okay. I was just checking the time, and I'm so glad everybody is here today. I want to give you right now the 6 core principles of the One Philosophy. And what I've done in the 6 core principles is I took the word THEONE, took those two words and created an acronym, or I believe it's actually an acrostic, um, with a principle for each one of these letters. And what was fascinating for me in the development of this whole process, and I'm sharing this piece of the one philosophy and my story with you because you may be going through something similar in creating your business and the next program or course that you're planning on offering. So I told you earlier on, I had this revelation, this aha moment back in 2000, let's say it was 2009. So I have this revelation, this aha moment. And then I started weaving, after doing my own personal experiment, treating everyone as the one. I started weaving this concept of treating everyone you meet as the one into all of the business trainings I was doing. So I was doing, how to become a speaker, how to put your marketing together, how to work on sales strategies. And like I'm doing all these great business things. And in each one of those presentations, I would just drop in a minute or two about the one philosophy. And it wasn't actually called that. It was just about being the one. And what was so fun as I'm teaching on the one philosophy, because here's the thing, you never know when you're going to be the one for someone. Actually, you can always be the one for someone, but you never know when you're going to meet the one who can be for you. And the beautiful thing is when you start being the one, you will start meeting more of the ones. And that's that beautiful magic that we talk about. Um, and so I start dropping this into all my presentations. And I think I'm delivering these brilliant strategies for marketing and sales and leadership and all like I am like pat myself on the back for how good that presentation was. And on exit strategies, I would say to people, oh, thank you so much for being here. Tell me, what did you like best? Now, I'm expecting them to say, oh, the way you talked about the marketing strategy and working from your funnel and da 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 da. Do you know what happened? Every single person on those exit strategies, now, those were really good. But what moved them, what touched their heart, what mattered to them was this little seed about being the one. So as I continued to do this, people said, so Nancy, do you have a book about this? And I was like, I guess it's time to write a book, which is how the One Philosophy book came about. And again, I'm sharing this aspect with you because I want you to listen for and look for what is it that the community, the ideal clients, the market that you're currently serving, what do they most love and enjoy in the experience of working with you? That's your channel to go deeper. Let them guide you. Don't just sit in a vacuum making up what you think. Let them guide you on how you can go deeper with them into that specific area. So as people start asking me, oh, do you have a book about the one philosophy? I was like, I guess I need to write a book. Well, what would that be? Well, to write a book about this, it would be if the essence of the one philosophy is treating each and every person you meet as the one, well, then it's about me being the one. Well, who do I need to be? I'm going to be the change. I'm going to be the one. Who do I need to be? How do I need to behave in such a way that supports me in consistently being the one? And that's where the principles came from. And when you really get these six principles, when you really embody them and integrate them into your daily life, that's where the magic happens. And that's why I'm doing the book study, because you can go get the book. When you go to my website, I have the six principles. You can download the six principles, and I recommend you do as a reminder. But to really bring them in and create that internal change within you to create the external changes you want to see in the world, we got to work together. So that's why I'm doing the book study. And I hope you'll join us. So let me give you the six principles, and then I'm going to open up for some questions or comments and whatever seems to turn up. So let me give you the six principles. So if you can, this is write it down. THEONE, the one. So to consistently be the one for others, You want a T, talk less and listen more. Talk less and listen more. You've heard the saying that God gave us two ears and one mouth, and we should be using them in that proportion, but we usually don't. So get more intentional about listening. And when I'm talking about listening, I mean really, really listening. And this lesson was drilled home for me with my daughter. She was in high school, and I owned a title company at the time, and she got out of school around 2 p.m. And I was in my own business. And one of the reasons I wanted to be an entrepreneur, like many of you, was I wanted to be able to make my own hours, spend more time with my family, have that quality time of picking my daughter up from school every afternoon. So I left work, left the title company, and I get in my car and I wait in the line. And I probably was on some business calls while I was waiting for her to come out. Finally, she gets in the car, and like most teenagers at the time, there was two ways my child was going to show up that day. She was either going to be totally quiet, right? And not, how was your day? Fine. We know those teenagers. Or she was going to be, I had an amazing day and this happened and that happened. Right? You got teenagers, you know what I'm talking about, or kids in general, right? So this particular day, she gets in the car and she's going a mile a minute telling me all about her day and all this happened and that happened. Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden, I hear loudly, Mom, you're not listening to me. And I was like, what? And then she like pulled me out of my trance. Because actually what I was doing, I wasn't fully listening to her. I was thinking in my head about all the stuff I had to do back at the office and trying to I was multitasking with my ears. It doesn't work. When we are with others, be fully present. And in that moment, I apologized to her and I said, oh, you know what? I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Tell me what's happening. Talk less, listen more. And when we get together during the book study, each one of these principles, we're going to go deep. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share what may be happening in your life or your business so that you can transcend some of these things, right? And these challenges and enhance your life. So first principle, talk less and listen more. The second is hold and hone your vision. And holding and honing your vision is about truly tapping into what your heart's desire is and becoming so connected to it that the energy of it and the message and the value that you provide and the impact that you make with your vision, all of this from your body and naturally attracts people. So we're going to get that really ramped up. And when you do so, that's how you naturally attract more of the ones that the divine is placing in your path to conspire in your favor for the realization of your vision. Get that? There was a lot in that sentence. So go back, rewind, listen to that piece again, write it down. The universe wants to conspire in your favor for the fulfillment of your vision. You got to be clear on the vision. You got to have it be energetically oozing. Like my vision, you know what I want? I want a world where everyone treats each other as the one. That's why I'm here today. That's why I did a show on yesterday. I did a presentation. That's why I'm doing another. Like, this is my purpose. Because I see what's possible for humanity when we show up in this way. So talk less, listen more, hold and hone your vision. The letter E. Exhibit exemplary behavior. What are you standing for? Remember, especially today, everybody can see what your behaviors are. So exhibit exemplary behavior. Be a leader that somebody else actually wants to follow. And we're going to dive deep into this as well. The letter O. So THEONE. The letter O. Own your life with 100% responsibility. This one might be the most important for creating your best life, because when you own your life with 100% responsibility, it gives you power. It gives you the ability to create what you want from maybe what's out there that you don't want. It gives you the authority to come from a place of um, taking responsibility without blaming, without complaining, without giving up your power to circumstances outside of you. No. Is crap going to happen? Of course it is. Is there going to be sickness and loss and hurricanes and storms that come into our lives that maybe we have no control over? What we do have control over is how we respond in the situation. And that's where true power lies. Because how we respond in a situation determines the result that we get and how long we stay in the storm and all of those pieces. So own your life with 100% responsibility. It might be the most challenging one as well. So we're going to spend lots of time together on that. The next letter N is for never, 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 never gossip. Now, this means as a leader, somebody who's being the one for others, you don't gossip, you don't speak ill of other people. Because I don't know about you, but for me, when somebody starts gossiping to me about someone else, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they say about me when I'm not around. And does that allow you to be the one? It takes down your character just a little bit, or maybe a lot of it even. The last letter, the letter E, is to exercise your mind and your spirit daily. We must fill ourselves up with positivity, with prayer, with journaling, meditation, whatever your process or your practice is. We must keep ourselves clean on a daily basis. I liken it to brushing your teeth. This is about brushing your spirit, about brushing your mind, preparing you to get out in the world. Would you go out in the world without brushing your teeth? Hi. Nobody wants to have bad breath. Well, when your energy is not good, that's what you're doing. Be the change you want to see in the world. So talk less, listen more, hold and hone your vision, exhibit exemplary behavior, own your life with 100% responsibility, never, never, never gossip, and exercise your mind and spirit daily. Join me and a committed group of individuals that are committed to being the change they want to see in the world. Join us for the book study. It's going to be a 6-week course. When you register, you'll get 2 copies of the One Philosophy. And let me see if you can guess why I want you to have 2 copies. Tell me later. Put it in the notes below. You'll get 2 copies of the book. You're going to get a video and audio. You'll get the download of the 6 principles. And we'll get to be together for 6 weeks, really sinking into what I refer to as living the way of the one. So go to nancymatthews.com, and on there you'll see the book study link right at the top. And also, please do join my newsletter called the Be the One newsletter, where we highlight different people being the one. We give you action steps, whether you have a minute or an hour to be the one in your life. And we also give you a yummy recipe every issue. So go ahead and sign up for the newsletter as well. And let me open up for some questions or some comments. So hold on a momentito. Let's see who's in the house. I'm going to start with Erica. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning, Nancy. Thank you so much for being a blessing. Like I needed that this morning, and I'm definitely going to join today. I see it's on the 16th at 6 o'clock. How long are the sessions? Is it every Wednesday at 6 o'clock?
Yep, it'll be every Wednesday, 6 o'clock for 1 hour.
Okay, got it. Will we have homework and group
Yes, I know
work,
all
group
those.
work?
Yeah, so sit them down to do the homework and then pop on. I know I've been through all of that many, many times. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having you join us, Erica.
Thank you.
Awesome. And thank you for being the one today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, let's see who else is here. I would love to take some questions, comments. If you're in the house, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand. I think you can hit *6 if you're on your phone. Questions, comments? I see Evie Diaz is in the house. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Evie, because we got some fun things we're doing together.
Hello, my beautiful friend. You are
Good morning.
definitely the one for so many of us.
As are you, as are you. And so Evie and I, we go way back. I think was you we just met in the beginning when Women's Prosperity Network was just forming, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. And Evie is hosting an event November 1st and 2nd called Money Fest Live. So be sure to go to moneyfestlive.com and come to this event. I am so, what's the right word? I am so impressed and in awe of how you're creating the experience to not just be another online event. So I want to honor you, Evie, for seeing this has to be different. And it's going to be. So Money Fest Live, go ahead and join us.
Yes, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your energy, the Women's Prosperity Network, and this book about being the one and how you have been the one for so many of us. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. And you're the one too. So let's just keep on building it. And here's the thing I've discovered, Evie, and this is kind of just prompted this for me to share this. What I've discovered is the better I get at living the principles of the one philosophy, I have more peace, I have more personal power, and I have more prosperity. Because think about this, y'all. That's my Brooklyn Southern coming out. Think about this. What do you want in your life? Do you want, your business to grow? You want, your family to be healthy? You want to take a trip? You want to go to the store, right? And buy some things. When you think about it, everything that we want in life comes to us somehow, some way through other people. Right? There's people. When you go to Starbucks, there's a person there at the counter. When you go to a restaurant, there's a team of people there that are part of your experience. Not separate from you, they're part of your experience. Now, if you want to create an amazing experience for yourself in every interaction, be the one. It transcends everything. And it's fascinating to me that in our educational system in our lives there are not more places formally teaching us people skills. So everything is about people. And if we look at the wars and the diplomacy and the government and the elections, if we all had better people skills, wouldn't the world be a better place? Which is why I created the People Skills Academy, but we'll talk about that another day.
It makes so much sense. We each are the one. Instead of just looking for the one, we are the ones.
That's how it all begins. How it all begins. Yes, yes. Thank you, Evie.
Thank
And
you, love you.
I love you too. I do. I do. And when, rather than looking for the one, everything begins with being the one. And the one philosophy, I liken it's a law, right? Like we have the law of gravity, right? So when you throw a ball up in the air, do you ever doubt that it's going to come back down? No. So being the one first, because people have said to me, well, I've been the one for others, but I didn't get, they weren't the one back to me. It doesn't matter, right? So, and you don't want to be the one to get something back. No, 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 no. Trust in the process. Being the one for others will always return to you. It just might not come from the place you think it's going to come from. But know that it will always return. Just like when you throw that ball up in the air with the law of gravity, it will come back down. So let's go to Adele Alexander. Good morning, Adele.
Good morning, Nancy. I
Hi.
have had many experiences with the one philosophy over the years, and I remember when the book first came out,
Yeah.
I want to just share a little personal story about meeting some friends. And, and I've often found myself at luncheons or different places where I sit down somewhere and someone else will sit next to me, and then something they need or something I need, we wind up meshing and getting that together.
Right.
But this particular time was almost it was about 2 years ago. I was having a birthday party at an outdoor venue where there was dancing and food and stuff. And so I invited my friends to bring their friends to this just so we could enjoy dancing and having
Mm-hmm.
fun. And I sat down at the table. I was the host, and two people came to sit on either side of me. And they turned out to be women that live in my community, and I had never met them. So we started talking. We had so many things in common. And over the last 2 years, they have introduced me to their friends that live in this community and in the surrounding communities. And we've become a very tight circle of
Oh,
friends.
beautiful.
And we go out sometimes every week somewhere and just take classes together and share experience.
Mm.
And it was really wonderful just being, but often it's just being open to having that experience of the one, and that it will be not necessarily that particular person. Sometimes it's something you give to someone else, and sometimes it's something that they give to you. And it's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah. And it's trusting that process. So thank you for sharing that beautiful story. And as you think about it, um, that happened for you. That result occurred with you getting this new circle of friends and closeness and good times and experiences. It occurred for you because you were first the one to open up your birthday party and let more come in, to bring more humans into a place of celebration. You were the one that set all that in motion from a simple act of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you for writing that book in philosophy. It's great.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so you probably have the first edition or the second edition. This is our 10th anniversary edition.
Ah,
And part of what you'll get in this enhanced copy is, as you can well imagine, since writing the first book 10, 11 years ago now, I have learned a lot. I have more tools, and the new edition gives you all of those additional techniques and tools to support us in handling the conflict, the division. Like, there's a lot happening that I know I need tools to keep my composure, to keep my grace, and to keep my kindness at the forefront instead of all that other yucky stuff. So that's why take a look. You might want to join us for the book study if you can, or at least get the 10th edition because there's some new things in there.
okay. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being the one today.
Okay.
Love it, love it. You know, one of my favorite, I have so many great stories, people who practice and live the one philosophy. And one that comes to mind right now is Joy Vodofsky. I don't know if you're listening in, but Joy, if you are, thank you for being the one. And Joy was, she and I were working volunteering for a nonprofit that was raising funds and supplies to send to children in Ghana. And Joy was had collected this big, she's a little bit of a thing too. She had collected this big box of shoes and supplies, and she was standing in line at the post office holding this big box, right? So think of the energy of the post office, first of all. She's standing in line with this big box, and somebody behind her bumped into her, and she was tempted to growl, because we can do that, right? And then she just paused and did not growl, but she was like, oh, yeah. And then suddenly the woman in front of her said, oh, that's such a big box. Can I help you? And she helped her set it up on the counter. And the woman looks at the box and happened to notice the label said that it was going to Ghana. She's like, oh, you're sending a shipment to Ghana. Now, remember, this began with somebody bumping into Joy and her wanting, recognizing she might have growled, but she's like, just pause. This box was unruly. Suddenly, she changed her energy, the external circumstance, right? She changed and she didn't respond in like kind to it with grousing. The woman in front of her becomes helpful and says, "Oh, can I help you set this on the counter while we wait in line together? Oh, I see this is going to Ghana. My husband goes to Ghana every month. He was a dignitary of some fashion." And Joyce started sharing the story of the project that she was working on, and a beautiful relationship formed from getting bumped into at the post office because Joy chose to be the one. The magic is everywhere. We just need to learn to practice it more and more and more. Laura Barker, she's the one for me in so many ways. Good morning, Laura. I'd love to hear from you today.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, my friend.
It's working. Hallelujah. Not so much for the camera. So listen, I just wanted to hop on and say here that, you probably don't even realize you do this, but you always bring up the one, being the one. And when we first met, that was one of the first kind of concepts you introduced me to, was about being the one as opposed to seeking the one, right?
Yes.
That it's about living this way of appreciation for the opportunity before you. And the really fascinating thing is that if you couple that with your other bit of advice you gave, which was kind of pause 3 seconds before you react, right? Just take a breath. So just take a breath and be the one. Be the one. And it will remind you what your purpose is, puts the conversation on track. It's more powerful than you can imagine. And so I just want to thank you. And I want to encourage everyone to really take this to heart. Let it soak in. Remind yourself. It's a habit you'll create. And I rarely don't do that. I mean,
I know.
And I know if I'm not speaking the word, if the words coming out of my mouth don't make me happy, they're not making anybody else happy either. Yeah. Right. And I need to be the one. That was
really good. Wait. Drop that. Let me repeat that for everyone.
If they're not making me happy, they're not making anybody else happy either, or something like that.
Yeah, it's powerful reminder. And again, it's about, are you brushing your spirit? You brush your teeth? Did you brush your spirit today? Because if not, you're walking around with this black cloud. That's not helping anybody, especially myself. Right? So good. All right, Laura, thank you. I love you, and I honor how you show up in the world in the face of adversity, and deliver so much value all the time. So thank you for being the one.
Thank you for showing me how.
You're welcome. You were doing it already. I just kind of polished it up a little bit. That's all. All right, everyone. If you have any other question or comment you'd like to share, go ahead. Now is the time to do so. Let me check. I don't see any. Oh my goodness, I was just reading a quote. So I'm going to share this. So Carolyn on Facebook, when I was sharing the story about Charla, she says, I had the same experience in Atlanta many years ago. A young man pulled a gun on me as I was going to my car. I looked at him and asked, do you know Jesus and I love you? And he ran away with my purse. Didn't harm her. That's how we get, there's so many ways we can be the one. Thank you, Carolyn, for sharing that and being that. Amazing. I'm going to take one more comment before we wrap up on this Wow Wednesday. Susan Winter, the one for me in so many ways for my entire life. Can I just say, you have been the one for me. Oh my gosh, through so many trials and tribulations, you still are there for me today and lift me up with your brilliant pearls of wisdom. So thank you, Susan.
You are very welcome. As you know, Miss Nancy, my goal in life is to enrich lives. That's it. I love to enrich lives. And with the one philosophy, I do love being the one for others. And what I also do is acknowledge and have people understand that they've been the one for me. And I mean that on the smallest level. For example, I go to Publix and I have somebody waiting on me. They are the one for me. And I go out of my way to let them know that. And it, you know, of course it lights me up and it really lights them up. So I think part of the key to the one philosophy is letting other people know how much you appreciate that they've been the one for you on the, like I said, every level. Yeah. So that's my tip of the day. And, you know, one of the things I've gotten from you and this conversation and you being the one for me so often. So, you know, it goes both ways.
That's not magic, right? When you, that's what you're talking about. If I'm being the one, right, then I get that experience and it comes to me. So I love, and I've seen you do this everywhere you go all the time, right? So sometimes you go to a restaurant or a grocery store and maybe the server or the person, the cashier is not having such a good day, right?
Yep.
What Susan's described. So then if they're not having a good day, then you can catch that energy, or you think, oh, they're not treating me nice. Why would they kind to me? Blah, 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 blah. This is their job. They should be nice. Like, I can go down that whole path, right?
Right.
But pattern interrupt for that cashier when you thank you so much for being here. Wow, in the midst of this hurricane preparation, like you must be working so many hours and on your feet. I really appreciate you being here for me.
Exactly.
You just change the interaction. When you change the interaction for the cashier, for yourself, and for the next person in line.
Yep. Absolutely.
Powerful. You're amazing, sister. I love you.
I love you too. And everybody that's with us today. So I want to encourage all of you to become part of this conversation with us. You can learn all you want, but unless you have reminders, unless you're in the conversation, it's very easy to slip into a different mode. You know, we've been in this conversation since 2009, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so, and we're constantly in the conversation. And even then we need reminders. So imagine how great this book study is going to be for us, as well as for everybody that joins us. You know, I invite you to be part of this conversation, be part of this energy and help us spread this word. So that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, sister. I love you greatly. And I'm excited about sharing the conversation as we go deeper into the principles of being the one. So go to nancymatthews.com. At the main website, you'll see 3 things on that main page, on that home page. Up at the top, a yellow banner so you can join the book study. Right below that, the Be the One newsletter, which is a free subscription where I give tips and tools and recipes for living the way of the one. And then right below that, you'll see where you can immediately get access to the 6 principles so that you can keep them present, print them out as a physical reminder so that you can be the one every single day and enjoy the rich rewards that come your way when you live the way of the one. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Those of you that are in the path of this hurricane, a prayer of protection is placed over you for safety, security, love, and care to come your way throughout all this. Be safe. Remember, you always have power, even if you lose electricity. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.